Hello, my beautiful people. Okay, today I feel like I'm getting that like surge of energy that I needed just from expecting to do this live. So today we have a really awesome live with Brooke Lynn Hytes, who is a phenomenal drag queen and someone who I got introduced to from RuPaul's Drag Race season 11. If you guys haven't watched it, urge you to watch it. What's so special about Brooke Lynn and just like it's her confidence, is the way she carries herself. It's all that glam and all that beauty, and I needed to get to the bottom of it, and I want to learn more about the drag world that I think is so fascinating and amazing, and just really, I mean, it saved me during quarantine. She also trained to be a ballerina with the National Ballet of Canada, which is amazing. And I have so many amazing questions, also from you guys from yesterday's story. So I am gonna stop talking now and let the queen.
Hi. Hi,
Hello.
Diva. How are you?
I am so good. How are you? Oh,
I
okay. Thank you so much for that Zoom. Thank you.
am I zoomed in?
You are zoomed in, but I needed to see all your hard work here, so I appreciate the Zoom.
This always happens when I go live with someone. It'll zoom in, but then it won't zoom back out. Tell me when I'm like at a normal spot. Am I
I
zoomed
mean,
out yet?
keep going.
Keep going. I'm like moving the thing further away from me.
You are. It's going up. Okay, this is good.
You can see me?
Yes, I see everything that I need to see. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you? It's so nice to meet you.
It's so nice to meet you too. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. I'm
Oh,
so excited to have you here.
thank you. This is so fun. I love doing these things.
Yeah, so honestly, I am a rookie when it comes to just knowing things about the drag world. And when I first got introduced to RuPaul's Drag Race, I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. There's so much out there to see. And it was just like such a beautiful energy that
Mhm.
entertained me, but also inspired me as a woman. So I wanted to have you here today so you can, first of all, tell us a little bit, what is drag to you? Like, what does that mean to you?
It drags me. Well, it's the way I pay my bills. That's what it means to me now. I mean, it's my job. It really is my life. And I'm very fortunate to get to do what I love to do for a living. So it really is kind of all encompassing. Everyone's like, what are your hobbies? Like, what are your interests? And I'm like, I do my hobbies and my interests. Like, my job is my hobby and it's my interest and it's everything. So it really is my whole life, and it's what I love.
When did you, like, how did you get even into it? Were you always interested in it? What was your first exposure to drag?
Gosh, yes. I like from as a little boy, I was always putting on my mom's dresses, and I love dolls, and I had a blanket when I was little that there's so many pictures of me, and I would put it on my head like a wig and then like put a hat on top of it. So like before I even knew what drag was, I was interested in it and I just didn't know it. Um and then my first exposure to it would have to be when I was probably about 16. And I went to the National Ballet School of Canada, which is downtown Toronto, and it's in the gay village of Toronto. So I'd literally have to walk down the street to and from school, past all of the bars, and that's when I first kind of saw a drag queen. And I grew up in like the suburbs and like a very Christian
Right.
family, so I had no idea about any of this. I was just like, oh my God, what is that? And that was kind of like my first introduction.
So how do you even, I mean, how did you decide moving from doing ballet, although in your work, I mean, part of your art, I feel like, has so much of that ballet background, but how
Mhm.
did you move from there to drag?
It was a very natural progression. So I joined a ballet company called Ballet Trocadero de Monte Carlo, which is based out of New York, and it's an all-male ballet company that does the male and the female roles. So it's like a drag ballet company almost. And that's where I learned to dance on point, and that's kind of when I really started experimenting with drag. And I was with them
Hmm.
for 4 years, and it was so amazing. But after a while, like I started to realize that I was really loving the drag part of it, and I wasn't loving like the professional dancer part of it so much. So that's kind of when I made the decision to leave the company and move back to Toronto and really start honing my craft as like a drag artist.
I feel like something that is a misconception, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I try to do research, but I mean that's what you're here for. I know that just getting into the drag world in general, like, it's really expensive, first of all, right? Because there's all the costumes, all this makeup, and I mean, when you're just starting out, it's not like you go from here to here right away. There's such a big kind of long way to go. So tell me a little bit of like, what is when you start drag, like what is the investment like? What do you I want people to understand the amount of, kind of investment you put into it, both emotionally, but also like it costs so much money.
So much money. That's what people don't realize. I mean, and yeah, like when you first start out, like most people do not have a lot of money. I did not have a lot of money. So you kind of get costumes where you can get them. Like I would go to H&M, sorry, RuPaul, but I would go to H&M and I would buy like a cute sparkly top and something, and you just embellish it a little bit more with rhinestones and sequins or whatever. But you kind of you have to get really creative in the early days, I find. That's when you kind of find your creativity, because you have to take something and then make it special and make it appropriate for the stage. And it gets easier as you get older. And I mean, I've been like, once you get on Drag Race and stuff, it becomes a lot easier because you tend to make a little bit more money. So then you can kind of throw things at designers and be like, here, make this. Take care of this for me. But yeah, it's so expensive. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on drag, easily. And like when I was competing in pageants, like you would drop $10,000 on new dresses and costumes for your talent and stuff like that. It's really, really easy to spend money, and it's necessary to spend money in drag. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to go on RuPaul's Drag Race, because I was like, I love what I do, but I'm not seeing a huge return on my investment. And
right.
I was like, and I was seeing these other girls traveling so much, and I knew they were making more money. And I was like, that's like, if I'm going to continue to do what I love to do, I need to figure out a way to actually make a good living doing this.
Which I feel like you answered kind of my next question, like what got you to go to RuPaul's Drag Race? And I mean, I guess for me, and for it brought to the mainstream the drag world, right? It opened so many more opportunities and just like a better understanding of what being a drag queen is and the art of it all. So how was it to be on the show? It looked really stressful, to be honest with you. There were some challenges where I was like, I don't know how you guys keep going and looking amazing and bringing all that personality out. So how was it to actually be a contestant? Because now you also hosted Canada's Drag Race, right? So you are also, now you experience the other side. So first answer, how was the contestant part? And then do you prefer being a contestant or a judge?
Well, you're completely right. It was very stressful. My personality, I'm a planner. I like to know what's going on so I can plan things out. And it takes me a little bit longer to sometimes process things and kind of figure out what I want to do. So it was very stressful walking in every day, not knowing what the fuck was going to happen. I never knew what was coming up, what was the next thing. And that was very hard for me because I like to plan things out. So that was hard, but there was also a lot of really fun times. It was also really, really fun, and it was a big challenge, and it's just such an amazing platform. I mean, it really has brought drag into the mainstream and made it accessible to everyone and made everyone aware of it. And you just see how many people who really don't know a lot about it, they just fall in love with it. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I've been missing this the whole time. So I'm so thankful for the show and for RuPaul for really changing the game. And it's just, the show really is a springboard. I mean, it's a platform, and you can go anywhere with it. You can do anything with it. And I got lucky enough to be on Canada's Drag Race as the host, and it was an incredible, incredible experience. And it was also very stressful because now, I was the drag queen on the judges panel, so I'm sitting in this position, and it was interesting to figure out how to kind of be myself, and I didn't want to imitate RuPaul. I knew I was going to be compared to him by proxy, but I didn't want to like mimic him. So kind of
Mm-hmm.
figuring out that my own role in that. And then also just knowing firsthand how hard the show is and how stressful and how hard you work to get there and what it means to you as a drag queen to be on the show and what a life-changing thing. It was really hard to sit there every week and have to critique people and then have to send someone home because you knew what that was like. Well, I don't know what it's like to be sent home, but I can imagine I can imagine it's not nice and it doesn't feel great, and you just see the heartbreak and stuff, and that was horrible. So
Right.
it was stressful, but I still do prefer it to being a contestant, I have to say.
I mean, yeah, I was expecting that answer. What is your favorite part? I guess for me, I'm trying to understand, like, for drag queens when they're attracted to the art of it, but was there something that kind of it fulfilled emotionally for you, just being in this, in this industry or being a drag queen?
Yeah, and my favorite part of drag, I mean, I love the transformation part of it. I think that probably is one of my favorite parts. I love kind of wiping away my face, wiping off my features, and just becoming something different and becoming this other untapped part of you that doesn't get to come out all the time. I think that's really fun. It's really glamorous.
Mhm.
And I also love, on the other side of that, I love taking it off. I love when it's
Just
done.
like
You
done.
Oh, you
Uh,
don't understand the feeling after you've been like in drag for hours and hours and just taking that wig off and taking those eyelashes off and untucking, and you're just like, oh, like it just, oh my God, that's the best feeling.
Oh my God, I love that. So do you feel, like, where do you feel is the difference between Brooke Lynn Hytes and Brooke? Like, what is that alter ego? Is it an alter ego?
A little bit. I think I'm as a boy, I'm quiet and I'm kind of reserved and I'm not a big in your face personality. And I think I come out of my shell a little bit as Brooklyn. I think drag gives you permission to, it's kind of like you're a superhero. You feel like
Mm.
you're kind of busting out of your shell a little bit, and you can be a little bit more loud and assertive and confident. And as Brock, I think I'm just a little bit more shy at first. So I think that's probably the biggest difference. But there's not a huge difference, honestly. It's still the same person. I don't become a completely different personality when I'm in drag. I find
But
that
are there girls out there that do like that
Oh
they
yeah.
just it changes, right?
Oh
Oh
yeah,
my
they're just
God.
like they all of a sudden it's like this completely different person, and I always find that a little bit weird. Um, like
Yeah.
I don't really get that, but whatever works for them.
Oh my goodness. So I want to know, I guess for me, when I watch you perform, I see that, and that's why I wanted to ask if that's your alter ego, because I'm trying to understand how do I bring that confidence, that like, when you come into the room, you command it. Like, how do I bring that into my everyday life? Because unfortunately, I can't like changed, I can't be a drag queen, although I wish I could, and just like, change completely my personality to really like feel more powerful. Is there anything that you've learned through that kind of like transformations that you do when you work that you can kind of advise on for people that aren't in drag but like need that boost of confidence?
Got it. Well, first of all, I have good news for you. You can be a drag queen. Anybody can be a drag queen. I mean, I have lots of born female friends, cis female friends who are drag queens and perform as drag queens. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't know. You see, like I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't know much.
I know it's a very like it's been this really constructed thing that it can only men can be drag queens, but that's absolutely not true. Anybody can be drag queens. There's bio queens. There's so many names for them. I'm gonna forget them all. But yeah, the point is, I have a lot of friends who are women, cis
Hmm.
women who are drag queens, and they just do the same as me. They wipe it all away and they just draw it on even bigger, with the big hair and everything. So yeah, you should try that one day. That'd be fun. See you in
I
full high whore drag. I would love it.
I actually am just making a note because that's something that I'm definitely going to do.
Yes,
That is amazing. We got so many questions from the audience yesterday. Everyone wants to know different things. So I'm going to ask you some of kind of, the more
of
burning
course.
questions. So what is the most difficult part of getting into drag?
The most difficult part. I think the most like tedious part for me is gluing down my eyebrows because I have very large eyebrows. And so gluing those down and then and I hate the worst part of like doing my makeup is I hate drawing my eyebrows because one is always perfect and then the other one is like off somewhere else. So I think that's the most difficult part. I love getting into drag is very therapeutic and kind of a meditation moment for me. I really love just sitting down and putting on my makeup. That's like a moment where I just get to be quiet and focus and just like do my thing, and I love it. So I love that part of it. Uh, so besides drawing on my eyebrows, definitely putting on like the corset and tucking and putting on the pads and everything is probably the most difficult part because it's just uncomfortable. Like it's not a have you ever worn a corset?
I have, but I feel like not to the degree that you guys wear it. Like,
Yeah, I wear like a corset, and it's like, and then you have these like sofa cushions on your hips, and then your dick is somewhere not where it's supposed to be, and it's just a lot. So I find that that part is probably my most uncomfortable part.
how do you even, I mean, how did you learn, where did you learn to do makeup? Because it's just your looks are phenomenal.
Thank you. It's been a very long evolution. I was actually on my Instagram the other day and I scrolled all the way back to the beginning, back to like 2011. And let me tell
I
you,
love
I
that.
sat there for probably 3 hours and I like deleted and archived like 2,000 pictures. Cause like back like when I was just taking pictures of it, like everything and like just, and the worst pictures and the worst lighting. And my makeup has come on quite a journey. Let's just say that. Yeah, I've come a long way when I look back from where I
So
started.
it's practice makes perfect.
It's very much practice makes perfect. I think, and also I love one of my favorite things to do is whenever I'm feeling in a rut with my makeup or artistically, and I'm just kind of feeling blah about it, I have somebody I really admire paint me, and that always brings something new into it, and I learn a new trick. And that's kind of how you do it. I mean, it's for me, it was very trial and error. It was just like go, 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 and then you look back and you're like, oh, that didn't work, and you change it. And it took a really long time for me to kind of get where I am today because I started really doing drag when I was like 19 was like the first time I did it, and I'm almost 35 now, so it's been like a 15-year evolution for me, and it took a while, but there are queens
That's
now who are
amazing.
19 who
Yeah.
look like me and who are like just completely polished and like done, and not that I'm the most polished thing ever, but like they've evolved so much quicker, but because
Oh,
there's YouTube.
100%. There's so much, right? And you can
Yeah,
learn everything online. It's just
exactly. I
absolutely
didn't have
amazing.
that. We didn't have YouTube tutorials when I started and all of this stuff, so I kind of, it was very much trial and error, and it was very much someone telling me they had someone telling me what to do, and and like my drag mother would be like, do this, and you'd be like, okay. And I didn't really, it took me a while to figure out my own face and figure out what is good for someone else is not necessarily good for you. What works on someone else doesn't necessarily work for you. Everyone is very individual, and yeah, it's just it was a
Well, I hope you keep those photos that you deleted somewhere in the archives because a humbling moment once in a while is very
oh,
good for the soul.
absolutely, I was cackling, and I was mostly like, what, did I not have any friends? Why did you even tell me? Like,
No one knew any better.
right? I was like, y'all are so shady.
What has been your biggest learning from drag so far?
My biggest learning, probably not to take myself quite so seriously. I tend to take myself very seriously, and I think that's something I learned, especially on the show, is because like I came on and I was like this ballerina pageant girl, and then you have to do so much stupid shit on the show, and you really have to let yourself go and just allow yourself to have fun and be big and over the top and like crazy, and that's not something I was necessarily wonderful at. So I think that was a big learning thing, to just like take yourself seriously but also don't take yourself so seriously.
Right. What are your plans for 2021? What does the world like? What does the world need to expect from you?
Well, I do have some fun projects in the works that I cannot talk about because of contractual obligations. But yeah, you're gonna be seeing more of me in 2021 for sure. I have yeah, I have exciting things in the works, which I'm extremely grateful for, and there's some really cool things happening, some dream coming true things.
I love it. Do you feel
Yeah,
limitless now?
a little bit. I feel like I've just accomplished, I really have like everything I've set out to do in drag so far, like when I started, I've like accomplished. So I'm feeling good about myself, and I'm proud of myself because I really work really hard and I push myself, and it's really one of those things like if you set your mind to do something and you decide you want it, you can get it done and you can do it. You just kind of got to
Mm-hmm.
put in the work and put out the good energy and kind of manifest it. I mean, even with Canada's Drag Race, I remember after I'd filmed season 11, I was in Los Angeles and I was in the World of Wonder offices, and we were just talking, and I said to them, I was like, I would love for there to be a Canada's Drag Race one day, like a spin-off, like just, and I wasn't even, I was like, I assumed Rue would be hosting it, and I was like, I would love to come on, like make a cameo appearance or something, and they were like, totally. Meanwhile, this was already like totally in the works. I just didn't know about it. And then like
That's
9 months
amazing.
later, they're like, do you want to be a judge? And I was like, cool. Like that. Yeah, it's just crazy how things happen, and things
Yeah.
I never thought would happen. And that's, again, the magic and the glory of the show is because it's made drag mainstream, and now everyone wants a slice and everyone wants drag queens and everything. It's just
Mm-hmm.
great.
Mm-hmm. What if you could talk to your younger self? What advice would you give your younger self?
Oh, stop dyeing your hair.
That's the one advice you would give your younger self.
Don't overpluck your eyebrows. Don't don't trust me. I've put my hair through. I've like done some stuff to my hair. I like I've relaxed. You know that relaxer you can get at like the drugstore. That I've done that on my hair probably 3 times. I've like box bleached my hair.
What was the end goal?
I
Like,
just
where were
wanted
you
it
going
straight.
with it?
I have very curly hair,
Oh,
so I wanted it straight. So I was like, I just want beautiful straight hair. And like, I love my curly hair now, but then I hated it. So I wanted beautiful straight hair. So I put this stuff in, and I don't know how I still have hair after that. I remember one time I did it, and I woke up, it was beautiful and glorious. And I woke up the next morning, and I was like, why is something burning? And I could just smell
oh.
it burning. And it was my hair. My hair was like, smelled like burnt toast. And I had to like go
I
chop it all
mean,
off.
if it was in the TikTok era, you probably would have gone viral for that because I don't know if you've seen the Gorilla Glue situation. It's a trend now, so, you
I
know.
can't even talk. That is this, like, I cannot even, like, talk about not having friends. I mean, who? And she got like $500,000 in like GoFundMe money. So
Oh my God, exactly.
yeah,
Miracles. If you could choose a superpower, what would it be?
mind control.
Oh my God, that's genius. Wait, what?
Yeah, mind control. You make people do anything you want them to do.
I always like say, oh, I wish I could fly or freaking, I don't know, like see through things. Like, yeah, mind control.
Think about it, because like you want to like end like war. You can mind control the people to end war. You want to become a millionaire. You find Jeff Bezos and be like, hey, give me 80
Give
million
me some.
dollars. Yeah, give me
I
some.
love that.
Like you could just control everything.
There was one question that was actually very interesting because you're right now living in LA,
Hmm.
right? But you're from Toronto and you traveled and you did the pageant, so it's a lot of traveling involved in that. So do you have any tips about moving to a new city and just like, kind of starting fresh properly? Because I feel like a lot of people really get into, we have big dreams, we come somewhere, we start something, and then it's just like,
Yeah, there's that excitement when you first move somewhere, and then it's just like, oh.
mm-hmm,
Um, I think, and it's really hard. I definitely had like when I lived in Nashville before I lived in LA, and that was definitely a very spur of the moment move. And I moved down, and I didn't really know a lot of people. I think it's helpful to move to a city where you know people. I think that is very helpful. And I know a lot of people in LA. So when I got here, I kind of already had a built-in friend group, which makes it a lot easier. So maybe just know people in the city you're moving to makes it a lot easier for sure. Also, do your research on the city and kind of really, and maybe go and visit it a couple times if you can, just to really make sure this is like a place you vibe with and you want to live. And yeah, I think finding a good place to live too, having a good home base, that's very stressful. Like I don't like to move somewhere unless I know where I'm going to live first. So I have to like research and figure all that stuff out. So I think stuff
Right,
like
you're a
that is good.
planner.
I'm a planner.
You mentioned, yes.
Yes.
So one last question, because it's to me, the fact that you've been doing this, you mentioned what, 15 years now?
Hmm.
I think it's so amazing that you have completely, fully committed to it and, kept going and going and going. It's a very difficult industry to be part of.
Hmm.
And what keeps you going? What motivates you? What makes you like jump out of bed in the morning?
Well, I love it. I love what I do. I can't believe this is my job. Like, look at me. This is what I do for a living. It's crazy. So that motivates me because I love it. Also because I don't have any other skills. Well, I do, but like the problem with being a drag queen is once you are a drag queen and you get paid to do this and you make good money doing this, you're like, I don't want to do it. Like I don't want to do
Everything else
anything
is so
else.
much work, of
Yeah,
course.
seriously. And this is a lot of work, but it's like fun work. But all at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to go like work in an office. I don't want to have a 9 to 5. I don't want to have like, no, like this is the best job. So I think that also motivates me to keep going with it as long as I possibly can. But yeah, I don't really like, I have other skills, but like I feel like this is what I was meant to do and this is what I'm good at.
That's amazing. I
Yeah.
always love talking to people that are appreciative and grateful for what they do because I feel like sometimes, I mean, myself included, I sometimes forget that, when times get kind of like a little bit difficult or when it's just kind of plateau for a bit, you kind of forget how like lucky you
Oh,
are to be able to do what you love.
oh, same. I have, and like, I love what I do, but there are days and there are weeks where I'm like, why couldn't I have just been an accountant? Like, or there, yeah, I have my moments, and we all have our moments, and that's one of the hard things about turning your passion into your profession is you become slightly less passionate about it sometimes because now you're
Hmm.
relying on it for work. I mean, it's hard,
Hmm.
but yeah, but I'm at the end of the day, I'm just very grateful.
This was so fun, Brooklyn. You are such a queen, and I feel your energy, honestly, watching you on season 11. And I'm sure, and I'm so happy to know that I'll be seeing you way more around everywhere. So I'm excited
Yeah,
for that. But your energy and just like so contagious.
thank
And
you.
I hope we will meet hopefully soon, and maybe you can transform me into a drag queen. I would love
I would
that.
love you. Oh, you would be so beautiful too. Where do you live, by the way?
Toronto.
You're in Toronto. Oh my God. Well, next time I'm in Toronto, we have to like have a coffee
Yes,
or
we're gonna
something.
make this happen. For sure, for
Absolutely.
sure. I would love to meet you. Thank you so much again for your time. You're fabulous.
Thank you. You're fabulous. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.